Enough electoral votes, more than 270, more than enough to become the 44th President of the United States. He will be the first African-American President of the United States.
I've been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us, and that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012, I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can, and everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke, I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own, ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name, I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these jobs pay enough. I think they just wanna keep us broke, cause they ain't putting none in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn. We complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't wanna see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor, or the governor, and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do, okay y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in '08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws, they the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs. So if the country failed, then you can't say it's them, it's your fault. Cause y'all ain't know to vote for Congress members that was for y'all. And they don't gotta leave after 4 years, and we just let them sit. See, they don't wanna tell you this, they want you to focus on the president. Now the 3rd branch is the judicial, that's judges. They the reason why John Crawford and Trayvon ain't had justice. So when Meek Mill got locked up just for popping willies, we blame the judge and not the city when they let her get voted in, cause they ain't know who to vote against. Imagine life on the other side. Roads better, schools better, everybody get their license back. Grocery store food better, custody of your kids back. Homeless people get new shelters. If we gon' fix the U.S., we gotta start with them 2 letters, me and you. Somebody told us that the government wanna keep us broke, but the only reason why those people in the government is cause we ain't vote. And I ain't talking about the president, I'm talking about the ones we ain't know. See, they was gonna try to keep it low, but it's gonna hurt them when they see the pros.
Good afternoon, good evening. My name is Mike Nelson. I am a 31-year-old entrepreneur / speaker. So before we hop in, let's go ahead and look back. So again, I'm 31 years old. I know I don't look like it, but don't judge me. So I'm going to take you back to 2008. I'm from Philly. I went to a small Christian private university called the University of Valley Forge. And so that's about an hour away from Philly. And so I remember it was the 2008, it was the presidential election. And if you guys are familiar, it was the 2 candidates were Barack Obama and it was John McCain. Both great candidates. So the person I was going to vote for, I make no mistakes about it. I know some people say, you shouldn't tell people who you're voting for. Well, I am. I was going to vote for Barack Obama. So I was excited. It's November. I'm ready to go ahead and cast my vote. So we pulled up to this is why I'm at college. We pulled up to a local YMCA in the Phoenixville area, and there was a place to vote. I think I was 19 years old. I was like, let's go. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna vote. And then we got there and people are voting, and I tried to go up and vote, and they were like, yeah, your name is not on here. And I was like, what? I was like, what are you talking about? They was like, yeah, you can't vote here. You have to vote where you are registered at. So it was a place in Philly. It was close. It was real close to where it is I live. And I was like, okay. So I left. I said, surely that they got the wrong information. Like there's no way that this can be true. So I went to a second place. And as I got to this Second place, they said the same exact thing. So I went back to my dorm room. I was going down, I was talking to people. Hey, I'm excited to vote. I'm trying to go ahead and vote. And it seems like I can't vote anywhere. And as I was telling the story, everybody kept coming back to the notion, where are you registered at to vote? And I was like, in Philly, that's where I live. And they was like, yeah, well, you're going to have to go back there. So I ended up not being able to make history voting for the first African-American president, simply because I did not pay attention to the small details, is that you have to go where you're registered to vote. Like I just didn't, and for me, I didn't know any other alternative, nor did anybody talk to me about any other alternative. When it comes, guys, down to voting and voter registration, you got to make sure that you pay attention to the small details. Here's what I wanted to go over. So I am not telling you exactly who candidate to vote for, but what I am telling you, what I am asking of you, is that you do make sure that your vote counts, AKA you make sure that you vote. This is not to endorse a political candidate, but it is to say, wherever side that you're on, please make sure that you go out and vote. Here's a few reasons why you need to make sure that you want to go out and vote. A, it's critical because if you are a minority in this country, or you're watching this, years ago, people like us, we just didn't simply have the opportunity because of the laws that were actually in place. So we couldn't even vote. And if there's one thing that you want to do to be able to have your voice heard, if there's one thing that kind of, I want to say, we're in theory, we all should be equal, but if it's one thing that kind of brings us together, if it's one thing that kind of puts us on the even playing field, is that this thing called voting. So this is one way to make sure that your voice is going to be heard, right? So you want to make sure that you get registered for the June 2nd election that is going to be coming up, so you can pick the candidate who will be running for the November election to become the president of the United States. Now, here's something that's important. Let's go back a little bit. We also have local elections, which actually happen. And so you want to be sure that you're also voting in those. That's why it's so important to make sure that you get registered so that you can vote in all of the different elections. Everybody gets always caught up in the November election, the presidential one. But I'm not saying that that's not important, but you want to make sure that you also are voting in the local elections as well, because this is stuff that it really, really affects where it is that we actually live. Here's a few reasons of how do you choose your candidate. A, you want to do your research and your homework. You want to be sure that the person that you're voting for, their values align as close as possible to what you actually believe. If you say, well, Mike, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm not 1,000% sure of the stuff I believe in, I would just start writing down some stuff. Get a sheet of paper and write down what's most important to me, and find out which candidate or candidates through process of elimination kind of come close to those actual values. Second thing is, you want to be sure without a shadow of a doubt that when you're trying to look up this candidate, right, look at their track record. Look at some of the things that they've done, because there's some politicians, they say that they're going to do one thing and they end up doing a whole different thing. So those are just 2 quick tips of what you can do of how to be able to go through and select your actual candidate that you would like to vote for. Now, if you're saying, Mike, I'm watching this and I'm not 18, I can't vote yet, here's some things that you can do. Encourage your friends and family and those in your community, encourage them to actually vote. Maybe you want to do something where you follow each candidate and you talk about the good stuff. Maybe you can volunteer with the team over at Esperanza in some of their efforts. And if you're able and if you're of age, you want to make sure that you're definitely going out and voting. So once again, my name is Mike Nelson. It was such a pleasure being able to talk to you, and go ahead and make your vote count.
What's going on, everyone? My name is Anthony Ramos. I am the project director for Esperanza's national programs. I oversee the Digital Innovation Project, which is to educate and engage students in regards to their civic duties and responsibilities. And we're going to be talking specifically about your voter response. So we're going to go through in this portion of the online assembly how to complete your voter application.
So you would want to go to the platform which we're using is Become a Voter platform, and the hyperlink would be unidos.us/Esperanza. Once you place that hyperlink into your web browser, you will land on this splash page. And the first question that pops up would be, are you a citizen of the United States? But for those that are going to participate in the voting process, you would have to be a citizen of the United States. So you would have to check the box mark yes. Then you're going to go to this form where you would put in some basic information. Now, obviously, for birth date, you would have to be 18 by the time of the election comes around. So let's say if you were to create this voter application a month before your birthday, and your birthday is several days before the election, then you can still complete your application. Now, if you are not 18 by the time of the day of the actual election, then you would have to wait until the next day to be able to submit your application so that you would be considered for eligible for the upcoming election afterwards. And then here you would select next. If you would like to receive text messages for just reminders of the elections, you can leave this check mark box checked. Keep you posted for latest news. Again, any individual that are running for specific areas in the government, you can leave that box checked. And then as far as your home address is the same as your mailing address, you will want to keep that checked. If it's not, then you would want to unselect that. And the reason for it is for your application, you would want to place the address of your home where you're living. The reason for that is because your voting location is going to be heavily influenced by where you live. And depending where you live, they're going to find the closest voting location to you and assign you there. And you will select next. Now, you would get this pop-up, and this pop-up is really the system recognizing that our state has its own online platform for you to register to vote. Now, most states or some states do not have this. And so what this platform does, it recognizes that the state that you are completing your voting application does have a online platform for you to complete your application. Now, what we would like for you to do is when you receive this message, you would select Go to My State. When you do so, you would be able to complete your application completely online as long as you have your Penn State ID number. If you do not have that, what would be required is you would have to print the application, sign it manually, and then mail it to the county office. So here you would select Go to My State. Then it's going to go to the voter registration application on PA site. And then you would want to scroll down to the application. Now, even at the top of the application, you'll get the notice of when the application needs to be completed by, depending on the upcoming election. And so for this upcoming election, the primaries, the application for voter registration is due by the 18th of May this year. And so you want to scroll down and complete the application. The second question is what we went over in the Become a Voter platform, is your eligibility to vote. Now, to be able to register, you have to be a United States citizen, again, for at least 30 days, be a resident of the state where you live. In this case, it's Pennsylvania, in your election district for at least 30 days before the next election, and be at least 18 years of age. Then number 3, if you are currently registered to vote, you do not have to use this application unless you have moved or changed your name. So here is really the reason why you're completing this application. For many of you, it would be the first application, so you would have put new registration. But there may be individuals that either have a changed name, whether they got married or they changed their address, or you're changing your party. Then the About You, you will want to put in your birth date here, followed by a gender question, whether it's female or male, race, which is optional, so you get a drop down of options here, and then you would place your phone and your email, your address. Similar to what we talked about earlier, you want to put your address of where you're currently residing, what is considered to be your mailing address, where you receive your important documents in the mail. Again, that's going to be the deciding factor of where you're going to be assigned for the polling location. And here, there's actually a check mark, like if you don't have a residence that is a permanent residence, you have the option to be able to put in an address where you're frequently at, so that your actual voter registration card can be mailed there. 6, the address where you receive mail again. So this is going back to the question prior to this one, identification. So here will be your PEN.ID number, your DLN number. You will want to place that here. Again, this would connect your signature that is on your state ID card and have it on your application. Now, if you do not have that, you can still complete the application with a social security number. The only thing is that you would have to print your application, manually sign it, and then again mail it to the county voter office. Number 8 is going to ask your political party affiliation. You would be able to select that here. 9, this is optional. Is if you need voting assistance, right? Would you need assistance with logging in your vote on the day of the election, whether it be translation or assistance physically to be able to get into the building? You will want to specify that here. Number 10, voting information that has changed. So if this is for someone who has a voter registration application in the past, you will want to place your previous information in this area. Then number 11, this is just to confirm the information that you have inputted in for your voter registration application. Once you confirm that, you want to hit the check marks, and you can actually just scroll back up, just go through the application, make sure everything is correct. 12, this is if anyone has assisted you in the completion of this application, whether you had maybe language barriers and someone was able to translate that for you and helped you with the application there. Again, here you will want to confirm that you've read and agreed to the terms above. For those that have helped you, you understand that your electronic signature on this application would, constitute the legal equivalent of your signature. So you want to confirm that you've read that. Here is more just optional questions. If you want to be a poll worker, you will want to check these boxes. And these are individuals that on the day of the election are in the polling location that they're assigned to, and they're able to help other people that are casting their ballot. If you would want to help people who would need maybe translation on that day, right, to be an interpreter for someone who has a specific language barrier, you can also indicate that here. 14, mail-in ballot. If you would like to receive mail-in ballots for the remainder of this year, and if you would like to automatically receive an annual application for mail-in ballots each year, please indicate. Now, mail-in ballots is being able to cast your ballot from home. Now, given the COVID-19 concerns, this may be an option for many people across the country to be able to submit their ballots while avoiding mass gatherings. Now, in the past, it had to have been a reason of you just not being in the physical location of your ballot location, or you were in a military duty and just wasn't able to be home for that time. Now anyone, for whatever reason, can still apply to participate in a mail-in ballot. Then the last one, it's a reCAPTCHA. You will want to select the box that you're not a robot. You will select yes, and then you will hit the continue bar. Once that happens, you would be informed of your information of the application, giving you the status of where you're going to be informed. Normally, they will let you know through email that they've received your application. It takes about 2 weeks to be processed, and then you receive that in the mail. And then from there, you've completed the application.
So we hope that this video was helpful in going through the application and made that process a little bit easier for you guys. Again, my name is Anthony Ramos, Project Director for Esperanza's National Programs, and we hope that you would share this video with your friends, your family members, so they too can be registered to vote and be active on the day of the election, so that you guys can use your vote to be able to cast your ballot so that you can make a difference in your community. Go and do.